What's going on, guys? Teddy Baldassarre from teddybaldassarre.com. In this video, we're going to be looking at a watch available for purchase on my website with the Rado Golden Horse. So at any point throughout this video, you have any questions, link in the description to get more information on the product page. You can also purchase the watch. If you have also additional questions that weren't answered by what's mentioned here, you can actually live chat us as well as book a call with me directly. So guys, let's take a closer look at this watch.
First, looking at a rundown of the specs, we have a case size of 37 millimeters, thickness of 10.8 millimeters, lug width of 19 millimeters, lug to lug of 44 millimeters, water resistance of 50 meters, movement is an automatic ETA C07, crystal is sapphire, and price we're looking at $1,800 on the bracelet. Now on my channels, I've been very quick to admire Rado as a brand, as I think they failed to kind of get that appreciation that they really deserve, especially in the US market, despite having huge success in other parts of the world. The majority of my conversation of this brand really kind of stems from the coverage of the popular Captain Cook, a classic design from the 1960s that the brand has rejuvenated from their archive in the last several years. And with this piece that we're going to be looking at today, with this Golden Horse, many of those same qualities of channeling to the past tastefully are present. First, a little bit of background on Rado in this piece. So this Swiss brand has a history dating back 100 years to 1917, started by two brothers, first under the name Schlupp & Co., transitioning to the Rado name in the 1950s, in which the brand started to reach new levels of success and develop that understanding or that name that we now associate with the brand today. And back during this period, many of the designs that we associate with the brand were released during this time period. One of those being the Golden Horse, and that was in 1957, which was a model that really helped complement the everyday style format it needed, and still I think remains very relevant in terms of its overall styling, case size that I think will be appealing to certain type of buyers. And with this piece, it's being limited to 1,957 pieces to kind of honor that year of its introduction, with the primary focus with the video today will be on this blue dial variant. So first, taking a look at this watch on the wrist, we have a classic sizing here with the diameter coming in at 37 millimeters, thickness at 10.8 millimeters, and a very condensed lug-to-lug distance of 44 millimeters. So overall, this watch wears very similar to that of, say, a Rolex Datejust 36, for example, or those that are familiar with, say, the popular Seiko Sarbs, the 033 and the 035, be kind of very similar to those as well in terms of the size. I think this is almost like smack dab in the middle in terms of that. So in other words, this is going to be a nice everyday wear that's going to lean on the smaller side of things. But I think for anybody with wrists of, say, slightly above 7 inches and then below that, will have a lot of fun with this piece strapped on, but then again, always comes down to personal preference here. The watch comes in a consistent polished finish across the case that works well with the dial and fuses beautifully with the beads of rice bracelet. The looks aside for a moment, the beads of rice end link really assists in the wear of this one especially, allowing the bracelet to drape perfectly down and around the wrist. So that lug-to-lug distance is going to remain very true to the actuals, even with the bracelet attached. It comes in a high polish as well, is very comfortable, and I think is one of the leading attributes going for this piece. It features a 2-button release clasp on the underside that is signed, secure when locked, and has a thin line finish across the clasp. The only 2 points of criticism here is in the area of micro adjustment within the clasp, and then the lug width on the piece of 19 millimeters. And I do have 19 millimeter straps on my site and actually have quite a bit of them, but I think coming in 18 or 20 millimeters here would certainly aid in offering more options available. Now, taking a closer look at this dial, we have a box sapphire crystal that is slightly domed and strongly resembles the vintage acrylic style crystals out there at the time of this watch's actual release in 1957. And it does feature anti-reflective coating as well, which will kind of also assist in that look. One point that I really like about this piece is how the dial surface is not completely flat and actually curves in a more convex manner and perfectly mirrors the opposite effect of the box sapphire crystal, creating an illusion that the dial is really popping out at you. Along the outside of the dial, the surface actually shifts in color to a black and gradually fades into a cobalt blue shade at the center. At each of the hour markings, we have applied polished indices, the 6, the 2 golden horses, the 3, an outline date window with a white date disc with red text, and the printing of Rado beneath the logo, which you might have noticed throughout this video thus far that the anchor symbol at that center actually will rotate when handling the watch and will rest at different positions. So it's a feature that's kind of become a trademark for the brand and I think provides some fun in the details. At the center, the watch has a simple polished set of Dauphine hands that match the polished nature of the case and the markers. Now, flipping the Golden Horse over, we have a simple screw down case back with a decoration detailing an array of seahorses that protects the movement within this ETA C07. Now, Rado is a member of the Swatch Group family, and it just kind of creates a great bit of upside being a member of that to get access to fantastic movements. Now, this movement's most notable feature is its power reserve, being a lengthy 80 hours. How this power reserve is able to be achieved is by reducing the beat frequency of a traditional ATA 2824 of 28,800 vibrations per hour for hertz, and then bringing that down to a 3 hertz beat rate, so 21,600 vibrations per hour. That will help maximize the reserve of the coiled mainspring, which in turn is going to create kind of more of a set it and forget it type of flow with an automatic watch, which I think people really love to see, and I think it's kind of become more of a modern expectation of watches at this point. So just to unpack, 21,600 vibrations per hour in terms of that beat rate, 3 hertz, features hacking and hand winding. So hacking stopping that second hand when you pull out to the farthest position of the crown, and then that power reserve of 80 hours. And in terms of accuracy, a lot of people question, how does this affect accuracy, making kind of this adjustment to the movement. This one, just kind of using it as an anecdotal point of evidence, 3 seconds off in perfect time of day. And I've been testing a lot of the Rado watches, putting them on the time grapher, and this is pretty much to be expected at this point, those kind of single digit range. Now, something that I've really kind of covered quite a bit is this idea of an everyday watch. I think these are great watches to look at for somebody that is going in the direction of just that perfect watch for every single scenario. And I think the Golden Horse is a great representation of an everyday watch in this price range for under $2,000. So first, looking at, I think the two negatives of this piece kind of just comes down to the lug width and micro adjustment in the bracelet. I mean, it's a beautiful bracelet. It's very well done. I love this beads of rice style. It's just, I think, a little bit of limitations there. But apart from that, I think there's a lot of things to love when it comes to this piece. Great vintage look and size. I think for somebody that's looking for more of that traditional size everyday watch, this is right in the sweet zone at 37 millimeters. It is a little bit on the smaller end, so that could size some people out, but I think a lot of people can feel very comfortable with strapping this one on. And I also think this watch walks that fine line of being suitable for both a man and a woman in terms of just being comfortable on the wrist. In addition, you're getting very nice finishing that comes from the dial surface, the case finish, as well as extending through that beads of rice bracelet. I think it's a really, really nice job, and that bracelet is certainly a big plus here, despite a few of its shortcomings. And then finally, you're getting a nice movement. 80 hours of power reserve, running very accurately. That's really all you can ask for. And I think this one just checks off a lot of the boxes, especially for somebody that's looking in the direction of kind of more of a vintage inspired piece, which I have to say Rado's really been killing lately.
So guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new here. And also, I'm a full authorized dealer of Rado watches. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about this piece, definitely head over to the website. You can also purchase the watch. Be happy to help you out with your purchase. We're a full authorized dealer, full factory warranty. I'd love to show you what going authorized is all about. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.